as we come back into the scene of our friends being offered a, I would hope, a very interesting contract here. There were questions that we were talking about off camera, so let's have them.
How rich does this guy look?
He looks pretty well off, but you know, you're in a situation where dressing in a certain fashion is encouraged as opposed to what he might wear on his day to day.
Okay.
And I think we know that she's the one who's loaded, so.
She did pay you guys about 12,000 new yen apiece to save him.
All right, Fenway, you're up.
And since it's two people, it's double now.
I mean, technically, you're only being paid to kill one of them.
Let's not get into technicalities then.
So, what is this job offering?
So she'll pull back from their loving embrace and take a business-ish posture. Well, this time, it's a little bit different. My funds might be scrutinized, so I could set up some down-the-line payments if insurance payments set out, in case of wrongful death or something along those lines, I can get set up. It's a little bit more complicated and won't be in immediate returns, but in, let's say, liquid finances, I could do 20,000 new yen.
Fenway's gonna say a piece?
I would not. No, it was just a blanket statement. I would also potentially be able to cover any, what's the word? Materials that you might need. However, that would have to be processed through certain other channels to make it look official.
I send an arrow to Fenway saying, I think it costs more than that just to have somebody killed, and this is actually a lot harder.
Well, she is willing to get you guys set up to be paid more, but it's not like an upfront thing. Like, dependent upon how you want to make this happen, she could have you guys set up as beneficiaries of like a life insurance contract, that kind of thing.
That kind of leaves a paper trail, though, so.
It does, pointing right back to us.
Or to, various other identities or things in your name that she could have set up to be paid off, like fake companies and that kind of thing that you guys could then get the money out of.
So, like burners.
Yeah.
Like, and if she's really dead, she can't change her mind later. So.
But radical changes to her life insurance policies right now, immediately prior to her death, will also look extremely suspicious.
And
that's why we have a hacker.
That's why it might take a little bit of time to get it done.
That, and I think there's a 2-month waiting period for it to become official.
So I think escrow is the way to go. Just at this point in time, we get paid. Doesn't matter when.
Yeah, certainly you can work out an arrangement where there's an intermediary, a third party that will pay us and then collect on your things, your life insurance.
Sounds like you guys want to roll some negotiation dice.
You got this, Fenway.
You guys are able to throw assist dice if you want.
I'm gonna edge that.
Well, let's see if you get assist dice first, and so a grand total.
All right.
How many?
So how do I assist?
Charisma -1, probably, if you don't have negotiation.
And I'm thinking in character. I just smile.
Yeah, I bring up that thing out loud about. I think it usually costs more money than that to whack somebody, and this is a lot harder.
I nod my head. I'm like, yep, definitely been paid more for that.
So first, Fenway, if you want to roll 3 extra dice to see if you get extra hits from that, and then you can edge it if you want. All right, well, you can go ahead and re-roll 10 dice.
Wow.
Man, that's
The dice don't like me today.
no, that's wow. All right, dice
Hey!
them dice, yo. So you guys will go back and forth, and you will decide on ignoring the higher paying, longer term insurance payouts, and instead we'll go with there's 4 of you, so let's go with 8,000 apiece with a small operational budget of another 8,000. So it's a total of 40.
All right.
8,000 of that you will get up front to acquire things. The rest of it will be placed in escrow to be released upon Wayne's satisfactory completion of your task.
So
Because after all, you know, we can't have her pushing the button to release money after she's dead.
Okay, so we're gonna need a blood sample and some info on her day-to-day routine, where she lives, that kind of stuff.
She will smile. Of course. Tomorrow, perhaps. There is so much time left in the night, and she will get up and begin to kind of pull on Wayne's arm to get her up, to get him up, and like kind of pull him towards the dance floor.
After she gives us the blood sample, now we can get started.
You're a medical professional. She has mood-altering substances in her bloodstream.
Gotcha.
It would be best for them to not be present, as they may complicate things. Also, you're in the middle of a totally not vampire club, and pulling out syringes and stuff and trying to take people's blood is probably really weird.
I thought it would be fitting for the situation.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it make sense in a goth club though? Blood. I thought that's what they were all about.
yeah, put a couple drops in your drink.
Well, we'd have a line of people who wanted to give blood and take. Be ugly.
So you guys are free to enjoy. It's like 20 after midnight, 12:30 or so. You guys are free to enjoy the night of the club, or to get to work.
Rika hits on a girl that has a boyfriend already.
Okay. Do you want to roll me etiquette real quick?
Sure. Does street count for this?
Sure, I'll give it to you, because that's probably how you're behaving. This is purely to determine whether or not you get punched. Alright, you managed to not get punched, and she just blows you off with I have a boyfriend.
Rika looks for another one that's not like all cuddly up to her boyfriend, but a little more off distance, and like, ugh, I can't believe I'm with him.
Sure. So, do you guys want to do anything else tonight, or do you want to,
I mean, at this point, I suggest to Handles and Fenway that at least we should get the hell out of here, and either get to work or reconvene in the morning.
All right, I wanna run down the idea of cloning her blood. I've got 12 dice in Seattle medical facilities. I want to see if I can think of somewhere that would have the equipment I would need.
Sure. So you have a couple of ideas of places in mind that you could do this at. Um, Outside of going and tracking down some random street dogs that might have the equipment, um, there are a couple of different medical facilities that are more corporate or more, what's the word? Clean?
Civic.
Yeah, Civic's a good one too. Most of the places you know that, like off the top of your head, you could go get this done at are more legitimate. Legitimate's also a good one.
Don't we have like a street dog buddy who can help you out?
I have a cyberware technician. This would be a different. Although I guess they would have cloning vats, like actual legit cloning vats for organs and stuff. I could probably repurpose that to do the same thing.
I'm still. If we could clone an arm and leave that as evidence.
Yeah, but that'll be I mean, that's really expensive. That'll and it'll take time. Like to make a whole limb or at least part of a limb. Like, we can make like a finger. Actually, that's
I was gonna
not that
say
hard. Yeah.
like how about like just digits?
So
Why
Well,
not her
actually-
chin?
It'd be better if it was something she couldn't live without, or like a piece of her lung, or like something that if we're gonna have her shot through, because a finger could be cut off. If you really wanted to hide, you could cut off your finger, but a chunk of your lung is an unlikely thing that you would leave behind when faking
Skull.
your death.
Just part of the skull.
Her heart.
just Kali Ma it right out of there.
We could do that. We could fake that she got like run through with a sword, and then like leave a little chunk of heart laying on the
There's just
ground.
blood everywhere, and then her heart's there, her body's gone.
So could I use the cloning vats at like a cyber facility?
Yes, but I'm gonna say that's probably gonna take you a little bit longer. It's gonna be a little bit harder because, they probably don't do a whole lot of like. Is he a doctor or is he a dude that makes cyberware? Because from the sounds of it, he's a dude that makes or repairs cyberware.
Well, it's actually a cybernetic technician, so she would be installing cyberware.
Okay.
And I'm sure that they do business on Bioware too. I mean, she probably works for a big clinic, but it's not like they would just turn it over. Like, she doesn't own it; she couldn't turn it over to me. But if it's a place that it could be done, she can at least maybe help us get in, as opposed to just trying to bullshit our way into a hospital.
So they would have a smaller scale kind of thing, like because like in a hospital, being able to take a bit of somebody's blood and whip up a batch of it in the basement is pretty goddamn useful. Where at a cyber / Bioware technician kind of place, it's like we'll have a little bit to more or less grow other cultured cells to test with the cyberware for compatibility or weird interactions, or to kind of culture your Bioware out. Not necessarily for mass producing blood to replace leaks that people have sprung.
Gotcha. Well, I got a medical license, and I don't think if we picked an actual legit hospital, especially one that was busy, I think we might be able to just walk in and use the equipment. We might be able to bullshit our way in if we were dressed right, and if Fenway came in to help do the talking.
I mean, I don't have medical knowledge, but even I know that you can't just walk into like a blood lab and start working on stuff, right? They have like charts with like this doctor's supposed to be at this time. They have those duty rotas and everything, right? Set up, and who's to be working and for what reason are you working, and especially with blood, since it takes a lot of time.
If there's only one person there, I'm pretty sure we can just distract them.
Yeah, or if I'm wearing the right thing and I walk up into the lab, and I for all intents and purposes, I am a doctor, right? So I can speak the jargon. I spent a lot of time in and out and around the hospitals, so I know kind of the procedures. I think I could probably bullshit them into expediting a test with paperwork I forge, because I can forge paperwork too. with paperwork, and I can update the terminal in front of them to say that this is a rush order. I mean, like these are all easily within my skill set.
And Fenway has to be there because he's the patient.
Yeah, and then you can cover me. You can cover. Well, you could be another doctor. I don't know. We wouldn't really need a patient if
since you're dealing with blood, you don't need another patient, right? Just the blood is important. He can be another doctor, and I think either me or Rico, one of us, should be there as well in case something goes down. We need to like bust our way out of there, and most likely pick a hospital that's like, I don't know, like for the people sort of a thing, right? We help the local people, some bullshitty hospital like that. That isn't like super high end.
Yeah. Yeah, this is totally doable. This is totally doable. Well, do we want to talk about what comes after? So assuming that we can get the blood, which I think won't be a very difficult thing to pull off. How do you want to stage the show?
I'm thinking if we have access to her apartment, we kind of make it look like we're breaking and entering. We're disguised as other people, and well, that would be a high-end apartment.
She lives in high-end, so like we guys would probably stick out like sore thumbs. Plus, there'll be like a lot of camera footage and all that, like show us just entering and exiting and like wiping off that digital footprint will be difficult. So I wouldn't suggest her apartment. Maybe like she's out somewhere and like, I don't know, make it look like she was out on a date somewhere or like in a cheap motel, I don't know, for like a one night. And then we kidnapped her from there. That sort of a thing.
How close is the spilled bean from where she is?
I don't remember where we said that was.
Aren't they both in downtown though?
So that's, I believe, where you guys met at the Gray Line and where the spilled bean is. I should really write this down or something. But you're looking for words falling apart. I'm sorry, what were you guys looking for?
Where the spilled bean is located in relation to where she hangs out, because I'm pretty sure he has a vested interest in us succeeding in the mission. He may be able to help us by participating. Figure we can forge some of the video, and that's a location where she might be.
Hernando didn't get us this job, so he has like no
Oh,
interest.
I'm thinking of the last one. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could totally talk to Hernando if you wanted to.
But that probably involve his place of work, and he wouldn't be happy about it because there would be cops over like talking about like if she got kidnapped right from there, and we might have to give him like a piece of our cut, which isn't much to begin with anyway.
We're gonna need some capsule bullets.
By the way, Rob, did we get the 8K up front for like work expenses?
Yeah, you'll get the AK up.
We'll need squibs. I mean, we'll need to rig some kind of hard. The key things I think for faking her death are going to be threefold. One, it needs to be fairly public, or at least some part of it needs to be fairly public because it has to be able to generate some news. It has to leave blood behind, but not a body, which is, limiting in the number of ways we could do it. And then 3, it can't look contrived or like it is faked because we're not just trying to fake the cops and make a news story. We're actually trying to stop people who are on a bounty trail, essentially. So like a breaking gone wrong would be a great way to fake a death, but it would leave a body because why would a breaking got wrong? Why would you stop to take the body out?
Because you're a cannibal.
I could make some people look like ghouls, and that would be, yeah.
Ooh, feral ghouls. I like that. Or not feral ghouls.
But feral ghouls wouldn't be breaking into high-class apartments. If then we would have to say, well, why was she in the Barrens or whatever crappy place
Well,
that
there
ghouls would get to her?
is a connection between her and the vampire, so we can just play it as she was trying to meet him. I mean, they wouldn't be trying to kill her unless there was a connection between him and her.
Did we actually get any information as to who exactly we're trying to fool anyway?
It was just kind of said that like his previous people who arranged his travel arrangements, did. Let me just Google it real quick.
We got a lot of info on them last time. There was some kind of organization that hunts and kills vampires, and they had some kind of symbol that was on the crates.
Trying to find the. So I believe it was the Order of Saint Sylvester. Here's their Wikipedia page. And then there's like a sect who kind of takes offense to stuff like consuming the flesh of others.
All right, again, I'm putting it out there. How much can we get him to pay us without her being alive?
I'm curious as to why Rico hates her.
Didn't Rico tackle her?
Possibly. She swung at me with an axe.
I mean, I guess that's cause to not like somebody.
So I think the best I've come up with so far is that whole the we kidnap her in a very public way, and then we have her death scene play out as an escaped prisoner somewhere in the middle of nowhere on camera.
Wait, can vampires regenerate?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we can cut off a finger. Maybe more.
In that situation, I don't know how well that would work out. Like, you want to roll me that vampire thing again? Not you, Rico.
Yeah, 1 sec. 10 dice.
So, you know that some infected have the ability to regenerate things. Regenerating whole missing limbs? Very difficult. Very, like, holding the severed limb back onto the body, not so bad. You guys chopping off a limb and then her getting infected might not regrow said limb.
Wait, how long can they be apart?
Probably longer than what is, because then you guys would also need to get the arm, which I believe your plan is to be found by the authorities. So then you would need to do a second run to steal her arm. Which, why would they keep it?
Well, if we're doing the ghoul thing, then, of course they kept it.
So, I'm looking to see what a replacement limb costs. Oh, it's a lot. A replacement finger only will cost 1,000 to grow. We could have a Bioware cultured replacement finger made of her for 1,000.
She gave us money.
I'm thinking if we take a portion of the scalp or something like that, it makes it more believable that she's dead.
We can scalp her?
No, if we're gonna culture the replacement piece of scalp, because if somebody has a chunk of their head off, they normally don't survive that, as opposed to if they have the chunk of their finger off.
Well, but the cost goes up. Like a finger toe is only 1,000, but a hand or a foot is 10,000. A partial arm leg is 20,000. A whole arm leg is 40,000.
Can we make some brain matter?
Shouldn't we first decide like how we're actually going to get it done, and then decide as to what we're going to replace and what we're going to like leave as evidence?
No, guys. If we can throw brain matter on the floor, leave that around, that's like she got shot in the head. No questions asked. Like, it's not going to be hers if we want to keep her alive. But brain matter.
So what do you think, Rob? Can we either through my friend's clinic, or if not through my friend's clinic, can we pay somebody to grow some cerebral tissue?
Well, for
Or
cerebral
some kind of
tissue, you're going to need a sample of her brain. So I will let you guys try to pass that across to her, because she's willing to participate, but you guys didn't in front of her say, "Oh yeah, no, we'll just cut off your arm." Like there may be some limitations to the insanity that she is willing to put her, like, because she doesn't want to actually die, and having somebody go into her head and chop off a piece is
It's just a probe through the nose.
And they use the word biopsy. So see, that doesn't sound scary, does it? We just need a small biopsy. If you've ever watched House, they biopsy every organ and bone of every person that walks in there like 10 times an episode. It just happens off camera. It's fine.
But you're talking about like brain matter, like a bunch of it. So
We don't need to mention what we're biopsying.
Wait,
She'll be out. She won't notice.
can we just use anyone's brain matter? Or does it have to be hers?
depends
I mean,
on
it
what
doesn't
you're
have to
trying
be
to do.
brain matter. We can do blood and tissue and stuff. I was just thinking it would be cool, like if we actually got a finger, but then again, a finger doesn't tell you anything. And I guess you're saying whatever we were going to try to clone and make, we would have to have a sample. So if we wanted lung tissue, we would need lung tissue. If we wanted heart, we would need heart.
Since I know very little about how medical stuff actually works, and Shadowrun is not super detailed, so I'm going to say you're going to need probably at the very least, a couple of base cells from that thing. Like, blood is really easy to just, there you go, just hit the vein. Have a nice day. That's pretty easy to just get. But something more like brain matter, a little bit more rough. It will probably also take significantly longer to try and clone any kind of meaningful amount. Can you guys roll me edge real quick as I try to decide something?
All right.
Wasn't Cross our big edge guy?
I mean, he was a human with 5. There's one.
Can I pre-edge our edge?
No, it's just to determine whether or not she has something. There we go. We're up to 3.
There you go.
Yay, Spider.
4, 5. No, 4. All right. So the good news is that she has a dock wagon contract. This will be kind of like in a little bit of the bio that she will send you guys. She does have a wimp, which is a cloned body that is forcibly aged to be about her age. They're not intelligent because they are, like, in Shadowrun, if you make a clone of somebody and allow it to age normally, it will be a person. If you, like, forcibly age it, it will be an empty shell. Typically, people who have nice dock wagon contracts have a cloned body in storage somewhere so that if something were to go wrong, they have immediate replacement organs available to themselves. So the good news is she has one of those things. The bad news is it's in a nicer facility, which might put it out of your reach depending upon how crazy you guys want to go.
Can we forge a transfer order for it?
Maybe.
Guys, we can kill her twice.
Yeah, nothing would be as believable as if we actually left her body somewhere. But I gotta wonder if the guys tracking her might check to see if she had a clone and might check to see if it was still
No, that's what we do. We kill her once. Oh, she's hiding. You kill her twice. That's a vendetta.
So you guys want to steal her wimp and then kill her?
No. We kill her. Let Dockwagon take care of her. Kill her again.
Rico logic.
Rico logic, best logic.
Yeah, if we had her body, then this a spare body of hers, and this becomes a trivial exercise as long as they're willing to accept that those guys might try to check and see what happened to her body. Because we can car crash her, we can home invasion her, we can do anything we want, and just leave a corpse.
What happens if we forge something to make it look like the body is bad? So we get the body, and then the body goes off the records, and they're creating a new one.
That is something you could attempt.
Such as your doc buddy needed the body for spare parts for some operation that she's going on, so she needed the spare body for that, and it gets used, and we use it.
All right, hacker, get hacking.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the host protecting that system is probably better than a rating 4.
It is a dock wagon facility.
Yeah, that I don't know how much of this getting in there and falsifying records is going to be happening.
No, can't we make it a bit legit through your buddy by actually have him request the body? So it's requested for a legitimate operation, surgery, as a backup because she's getting some operation done.
So that is probably something that is totally doable, but then there will be a record of her body having been transferred 2 days before she got killed.
And
Because
that,
I won't be able to go in there and clean those records. What I'm saying is I can't go in there and make those records go away.
but we don't want them to go away because we want them to know that the backup body has been destroyed. And then you can forge your buddy's records to make it look like there's nothing left of it. Or have him just put it in that way.
Right, but that doesn't get past the third requirement. If the super big guy bounty hunters find out she has a dock wagon contract, and they go and look and see that 3 days beforehand it was mysteriously called up and has been completely destroyed, they're not going to buy it. And then 2 days later, oh look, we found a dead body that is hers. That it won't pass the smell test. I would say in that case we were actually better off not using her body and just faking the blood, because then if they went and checked, her body's still there, and I don't know. Like I said, if we didn't think that they were going to check, it would be perfect because having a body would be perfect, and I think we could get a body out of there. We just couldn't cover up the fact that we got a body out of there.
Wait, do we know that they know she has a dog wagging contract? Is that public knowledge? Or like, how easy is it getting information on someone?
It may not be public, like you can just Google somebody, but you do know that she is fairly wealthy, and for a fairly wealthy person to not have a level of health protection is strange.
So it's safe to assume that she does have.
Yeah, it is kind of safe to assume that she's going to have some level of dock wagon or other personal health care, just because why would you not want to have, like, if you had the money and you could have a spare set of your organs laying around for whenever you needed them, I'm pretty sure that's a good investment.
Well, would the bounty hunters be able to find that out? Wouldn't that be under doctor-patient confidentiality, and Doc Wagon wouldn't release that? And it seems like it's hard for anyone to crack that information.
Yes and no. They would have to take additional steps if they didn't want to do it the way, like, if they didn't want to just like hack in there and go through it in the criminal fashion. They would probably, because the Order of Saint Silverstein is a legitimate thing. This is just like a not like the Secret Service, but like a subdivision that is specifically trained for this. So they would probably go to their guys, like the order probably has somebody who is well connected, who gets these guys their information and stuff. And then that guy probably knows people in Dockwagon that they could work out some kind of deal because they are, after all, affiliated with the church. And the church probably has some pretty good Dockwagon contracts for its higher members. So they would like probably end up kicking it up, and those people would do something above their heads that would then come down through Dockwagon. So it would take time, but they could go about finding it out legitimately, or they could attempt to go through it the hard and dirty way.
And the goal is just to provide time that it looks like she's dead. So if that takes time, might that work?
Yeah, that would work.
Well, here's an even more important question. What does Dockwagon do in the case where their super rich client dies and those bodies are no longer needed? Do they throw them in an incinerator?
It would probably depend upon the situation. If you were an old man and you died in your bed at a Dockwagon facility under Dockwagon care and it was just your time, there was nothing we could do, they'd probably get rid of them, or I don't actually know. They probably just toss them. But if, say, questionable circumstances about your disappearance happened, it would almost end up in like that. Well, they paid for this contract through the year, so we're going to keep it throughout the year. And there's almost assuredly a bureaucratic thing where they can't get rid of it in a ongoing investigation, because that'll be Dockwagon and Knight Errant would probably have that worked out, where you can't just toss wimps of people that we're still under open investigation, because if we find them, they might need bits and pieces replaced. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there might be a way, because if we could somehow manage to snag her body and replace it with another body that is not hers, and then convince Dockwagon to incinerate that body, either by making it her final wish or having her update her contract that says that she fears that her business interest might be compromised if somebody got a hold of her genetic material after her death. So therefore, her will and trust says that upon certification of death, that her body clone should be cremated, something like that.
Look, we just get her to Dockwagon, let them deal with it. She has extra time, and that's that. Or we can covertly kidnap her, hurt her, drop her off a Dockwagon, or not even. We can just kidnap. No, this is complicated.
Well, I'm assuming if Dockwagon gets a hold of her, that's bad, because Dockwagon has contacts with the people who are hunting her. So
Yeah.
I figure that kind of sets off alarms.
Right, but they would probably not go, hey, this happened, because they don't have, like, that doctor-patient thing is there to protect them from talking about it. The way that the Catholic Church would find out about it behind the scenes is they have significantly more power than a couple of random assholes with guns. So they would manipulate things behind the scenes to get the details. And,
Yeah, but that takes time, like you said.
Yeah.
So, what we need to do is make it look bad and hope for the best and get paid.
Hope for the best.
And maybe kill her and still get paid.
So you guys want to go for cloning some blood or stealing her wimp?
Cloning blood is easier. Look, we're only getting paid $6,000 a pop.
It's 8.
8. Or are you just assuming that we're going to kill her and that'll be the discount?
I mean,
There was never a mention of differing price values in case you actually murder her.
Sweet. So we can still get paid if this doesn't work out. Because Shoot, Cross isn't here. I'm pretty sure he bought like a ton of wooden bullets.
I say we just clone the blood, we kidnap her publicly, and then have the thing I talk about, like having it look like she got away and got shot down. That is my plan.
Blood in the house, break in. That's my plan.
I think both of those leave behind the body.
Blood in the house, cannibal.
Yeah, that might work. Well, not her house, because that would be hard to get into, and how would a ghoul get in there?
Yeah, my thoughts for when she finally gets shot down in front of the camera is she gets shot down, and then the guy goes away, and then a little while later a van comes up, and then that guy and somebody else get out and grab her body and throw it in the back and then drive it away.
No,
We don't
someone
have
shoots
a van
her.
anymore.
Oh yeah, we don't have a van. Okay. Did we get her schedule?
Or a trunk
Yeah,
of a car.
You will be able to get basically any kind of non-in-depth personal information you want. Like, you will be able to have her schedule. You have her address. You have like the make and model of her car. Like, what else would you like?
Card and schedule.
Sure. She has over the next couple of days, she has various different business meetings in the downtown area. She actually lives a little bit outside of downtown in a nicer rich people community, like not that singular house with the massive long driveway and that kind of stuff. They are nicer houses. This is very much a high class neighborhood, but there are still significant amounts of housing in the area, not like one house and then 10 miles away the next house, that kind of thing.
Is there a group? So like Humanus hates metas and stuff like that. Is there a group that is, other than this?
She's an elf, by the way.
Order that is but that is specifically against vampires. That is like, hates them and is public about it.
Not exactly. Like, here's the thing. They are walking biohazards.
Guys, that's brilliant.
Uh-oh.
We can get the blood.
Say that.
And write vampires suck or something. Like
I like where your head's at.
And then just have her dead because she's related to a vampire. It's brilliant. We don't have to kidnap her. We don't do anything.
So I will pause to point out the only reason that she's affiliated with a vampire is because you reunited them.
The why's not important.
She doesn't post all over her me feed of like, man, I can't wait until he drains me dry tonight.
We found out she wasn't careful.
Yeah, there is another tack that we could take, right? So we could totally pretend like we didn't know who and what she was when we got paid, and then we opened the other two crates, found out they were vampires, disposed of them, and then this is us hunting her down to stop the plague, and like actually playing off like that's why we're doing it. They would believe she was dead. That is a believable scenario we could sell to them of why she would get gunned down. We would just have to leak. I've got a priest contact. We can leak information back to them that's why we did it.
They don't know we did it though, do they? Are we aware of?
No, they know somebody did it, but we can let it be known that the group
why
the group that killed. Because it makes a plausible, believable story that allows us to do the actual job with very little risk in a controlled fashion in a way that they will believe. It does increase the heat on us because then they may try to come after us for having helped originally. But if they think that we're just dumbasses that got in the way and like tried to make good with what had gone wrong, I don't know that they would come after us.
Warehouse lady just died.
Huh?
Warehouse lady just died, so they'll come after us. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I think they want to kill anyone associated, so we don't want to make that known. Because
Yeah.
the warehouse lady didn't even know what was in the boxes, and we
Splatter.
covered our tracks with her.
Right. I'm not saying we call them up and say here are our names and addresses. What I'm saying is we leave like their logo in blood at the scene.
So
Or
let me step in here for a second. Splatter, you know how you didn't like the idea of releasing vampires into the world? Who may be muted?
Yeah.
I mean, you could conceivably come up with a reason here to clean up that last mistake. Just saying.
Hey, Spotter, we can kill her, right? Right?
It wouldn't just be her; it would be him too, and I think that might be a little bit more difficult.
No. We try to kill her. We try to kill him. Sorry, because we need to get paid, and he's paying us.
Well, how much is the church paying?
I think last time it was like 10 grand a vampire.
Yeah, this is 8 apiece.
But we have 8 right now. And that'll probably be bad for our rep if we kill our Johnson.
yes, it would.
Even though that's what we're being paid to do right now, kind of.
Actually, no, she's a Johnson technically. This is weird.
I mean, this is interesting because I wasn't really sure where this was going to end up going. Like, I have a couple of ideas on how it could just be quick and dirty to get done, but yeah, no, the idea that I just came up with of like, hey, Splatter, you could clean up the rest of your mess, puts an interesting spin on things.
So we got her address, right?
Yep, you know where she lives.
Oh. Who has a disguise skill?
Who do you want to look like?
Anyone but me.
I
You know
can
what to do,
physical
Fenway.
mask you. Yep.
Eh?
You now look like a clown.
Sweet. I don't care. That's great.
I will also point out that you do know. Did I give her a name? That orc that was not Harley Quinn?
Oh. I don't know her, though. I never met her. I don't think he gave her name other than Harley Quinn Orc.
Alright. I will come up with a name for her, but she is also like Fenway's ain't good with the scatterbrains, and she is really good at doing makeup and stuff. It may take a little bit of effort to convince her to not try to make you look like a clown, but
Your new owners, but we don't want to reinvent the circus wheel here. So just go out, do what you do. Just think of this as a fun warm up for that promoter in London, right, Marty?
what's that in the background there?
I think you're watching Rick and Morty handles.
Oh.
No, I was looking for a clip. I was going to play a clip into the channel, but I'm not going to do it. It's the Madagascar Afro Circus. I was going to say that's what he looks like. Right? Circus.
Circus. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What part of her route does she go through the lowest quality police zone?
You're still looking at like a low B, high C area.
Alright. High C, how long is that?
Let me take a quick look.
And do people carjack in Shadowrun times?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
It's just harder to get away with.
Yeah, with when things are being able to be controlled digitally, and you can just like hit a button on your comlink that kills your car. Not like kills it, but like turns it off and makes it no longer function.
I
it's a lot
think
harder to steal cars.
I'm
Okay.
trying to make Rico look like the Johnson, make him look like her. With both the disguise, I guess, as a base, and then physical mask to finish it up.
That is totally something you can do. So
That's
to
brilliant.
to break into mechanics for a second, in a AAA area, the HTR response time is 1d6 minutes. AA is d6 plus 4, A is 2d6 plus 3, B is 1d6 times 5, C is 1d6 times 10. It's page 356 of core rulebook. Keep in mind, on the shorter time of that might be a dock wagon response.
Okay. Her place. What is that?
Her place is definitely closer to an A. It's not quite.
All right.
It's not quite like double A, but she also will be able to give you guys the full details of her security plans. Like, she can arrange for you guys to hack into things and that kind of stuff. Like, conveniently arrange for you guys to not have to deal with her camera systems, because...
Okay. Sweet. Okay, that's great. So I can walk in to her place as her.
Mm-hmm. And then
It's
we can
Fenway.
shoot Rico.
And if we have marks on her equipment, can't we kind of forge the video also a little bit?
You could.
I wasn't thinking you shoot me. I was thinking I shoot her and then I just walk out.
As her?
The cameras are off.
Would that be a suicide?
She's dead. Suicide's perfect. Why don't we think of that? I mean, he'd probably still pay us, right? Because we're chums, and he doesn't really care about her. It's like, hey, we tried. But she didn't like the suicide idea.
And we can also just send him all the information we have on the wimp and all that, and said that, make it sound like we tried to get that body and all that, and we exhausted every avenue.
Yeah, let's just wait a day, kill her, and say, hey, we really tried, but it was just a lot harder than we thought.
So that means for a day, Rico looks like her?
I mean, it's one of those things of, like, pretty easy, like, the physical mask is something that stops as soon as you finish sustaining it. The disguise lasts for as long until he goes basically to the bathroom to get it washed off, basically.
All right. So I could get it done in the morning tomorrow. And we can get her to shut off the cameras at X amount of time and just pretend to kill her and actually kill her. Thoughts, concerns, handles.
Do what now?
We have her turn off the cameras in her place, have it look like a suicide. Turns out it's actually a murder, and still get paid. Because, hey, we tried, but it was way too hard.
No, I don't like that idea.
Why?
Because it's not clever, and I think we can actually do this. I think we can actually fake her death.
Oh, this doesn't have to be clever. This just has to work. I just need to get paid.
Well, we have a plan B.
And what's plan A?
So we could do this, right? We could do this. We could have her escort somebody in to the building, right? Let that person and her get picked up on the cameras coming into her place, right? Then we have on the cameras that person leaving, that person coming back with some suitcases, that person lugging one heavy suitcase down, that person going up, that person lugging down another heavy suitcase, and like over time, like lugging down all these suitcases. Then we fake the invasion, extortion, money stealing thing, whatever, leave a big giant pool of blood on her carpet and all in the bathroom, and leave a hacksaw and stuff like that so that it looked like we carved her up and took her out.
Damn.
It'll play. It'll be believable. We won't have to mess with any time codes. It'll look like something that was not professional, but it'll still work because nobody will be looking for that. And if anybody gets stopped with the briefcase, the luggage doesn't actually have body parts in it, so then we can edit the video and try something else. Then we call in like a suspicious dude thing. Her apartment gets investigated. They will assume that she was killed and carted off. We steal everything that's in her apartment that's worth any kind of money. Maybe if
that's
she
a
has a safe,
bonus.
she leave it open. Yeah, and that'll be a bonus, and it'll look like it was a ransack and robbery, thus motivating us sufficiently to have killed her, cut her up, and hauled her body parts away. Thoughts?
Acid. Can we just dissolve her body in acid?
I mean, I'm sold on your plan. I feel like let's just get into it.
Thank you, Splatter.
Yeah, wasn't for Rico.
Oh.
Okay,
just-
so
no,
we'll do
but-
the very bad. We'll do the very bad things plan. Would
They
that
cut
be-
her up in suitcases?
Yeah, after they accidentally killed the hooker, they went to the hardware store, got some bags and luggage and some axes, and came back and carved her up and hauled her out and buried her in suitcases in the desert.
Do you remember how last week I talked about how Shadowrun is everywhere in your life? You just borrowed that plan from a movie. It's great, isn't it?
Yes.
Every once in a while, I will see people on various, like, the RPG subreddit and that kind of thing. They're like, I don't want to, I want to do something that's not tropey and cliche and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, why? Tropes and cliches are great. They are so good.
Oh, speaking of, can I roll tropes and cliches to see what I can come up with?
Sure. I mean, I feel like it would be pretty close to something you've seen in a movie before. I also have a crazy other idea that you could do.
All right, I want to hear that crazy idea. Let's see if I get it.
I mean, you could try to, like, shoot her and conveniently miss, like, through and through, get the, miss all of the vital organs, but it still looks like a really good shot. You just need to find a situation where you could, where it would be reasonable for her to be shot at. You could always blow up her house when she's supposed to be there and is known to be there. That's a thing. Probably couldn't burn it down because it almost assuredly has some kind of fire suppression system. But if there were a giant explosion that took the whole place out, that would probably be pretty hard to figure out. There. You could also go out into the Barrens and find somebody that looks like her and use that for your body. The old classic of car explosion, everything catches on fire, burned skeleton, and just kind of like some blood that, where her head hit the windshield and then splattered all over the pavement, that kind of thing. You could do that.
Yeah, but all of those won't satisfy all three of the criteria. I mean, every one of them, one of the three parts that we need to pull off is not present.
Except blowing up the house. That's perfect.
No, because the blowing up her house is obvious to the bounty hunter guys. Like that's fake your death 101. Make an explosion so there's no evidence.
But it's an explosion, guys.
I mean, it would definitely stop them from pursuing, but I don't think it would temporarily, which may satisfy the requirements, but it would in no way fool them that she is actually dead.
Yeah, but it's till she becomes a vampire, and then after that, ever after. So this is temporary. And blowing up her house is basically opening up a gas vein, lighting something up, and kaboom. Like, you can hack her toaster. You open a gas vein, hack her toaster from wherever, she gives you access, kablooey.
Death by toast.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hacksaw one will actually, I think, buy us the most time, though.
All right, let's go shopping for suitcases.
Yeah, and this is going to be cheap too. It shouldn't cost us much of anything. We're still going to have to do the blood. We still okay. So we got a plan. We still need to meet her and get the blood, and we still need to clone the blood.
All
Because
right,
that
Rico,
is the pivotal part.
call shopping for suitcases.
Sure, you can easily go shopping for suitcases. Do you want to roll out your non-street etiquette real quick, Rico, and we'll see what happens?
Fenway's going to drop sustaining the spell before he leaves, so he doesn't look like her walking around.
Oh, I imagine none of
But
that
he's still
actually
dressed.
happens.
Yeah.
Like you guys were talking about, it's like, oh yeah, no, we could totally do this, and then you guys were still debating on stuff. So I'm like, they probably didn't actually.
So Rico's not dressed in drag?
Oh, no, I wanted to do that as a proof of concept, so he's actually dressed up and all
Sure,
like that.
you could totally be dressed in drag at the moment, Rico.
But before he walks out, I'm dropping the spell so he doesn't look like her.
Sure.
I'm putting on a baseball cap and hoodie.
Okay. Are you going
Actually,
out
no, I'm
half
not.
in drag?
No, I'm not in drag.
Okay.
Proof of concept, only in the house.
Got it. All right. Yeah, no, you can totally get some luggage. God damn, why was that word so hard to find? And somebody here has like a middle life style or better, right?
I do.
Okay. So we're not gonna. You drop what?
No, I just said I dropped it off at someone else's place.
Okay. Yeah. Splatter, haven't heard from you in a while. You good with this plan?
The blowing up the chick with the fake blood. I
No,
guess.
the hacksaw plan.
Run it through me again. There were a lot of plans.
Okay, so this is the hacksaw plan. We have video, so we get somebody, I'm guessing Rico, because Rico looks the most intimidating, to escort her in while she looks a little nervous maybe to the camera, but not to anybody that they're passing by. Then time passes, then the cameras will see Rico leave, then some more time passes, it'll see Rico come back with some suitcases. Some more time passes, and then he takes one suitcase down, and then he takes another, and they look big and they look heavy. And what we leave behind, and then we call in maybe the next morning to say she didn't show up to a meeting or business or something like that, and get the cops to investigate. And what they'll find inside her place is that it's completely ransacked. Her safe is wide open. All of her valuables are gone. There's a big giant pool of blood, of her blood, on the floor. And there's discarded like hacksaw and some extra plastic bags and stuff like that left in the bathroom.
Oh, no. Maybe extra bags, no hacksaw, because we're not going to really use it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we could take that one back with us, quote unquote.
So, if you guys have the camera on, won't the security be watching, and wouldn't they be alerted the moment Rico starts taking like multiple trips with like heavy bags, because they would be watching this?
Not necessarily, because if you were watching on a security camera, it might just look like they were going on a trip or something, and that that she packed her luggage and that he's taking it down to the car. I mean,
by the way, all the luggage is pink.
And actually,
Perfect.
We should probably not have Rico do this. Actually, maybe we should have Fenway do this, because we want somebody that, if is confronted, can use some facey kind of skills to.
Hey, I got a good con.
To get out of
an
it.
elf.
We want somebody to actually look like they can carry something. Fenway probably doesn't look like he can carry those bags.
Physical mask. Or actually, it might even be better if you look like you were struggling under the weight. You see what I'm saying? Like that actually may sell it a little bit more, that you are carrying heavy bags, whereas Rico, they wouldn't look heavy, but you carrying them, they might look heavy.
Yeah, what's your strength?
Sure, let's go for it.
So basically, the only hard part of this is the walking back and forth, make sure we don't raise any alarms with humans in the progress of our little story. And before that, we have to get the blood cloned, so there's going to be like a little mini op at the hospital to get cloned blood.
For the record, I'm a really good-looking elf, and she's an elf, so believable. Just throwing that out
Fe-
there as well.
Fenway's fine with just disguising Rico.
Yeah, definitely disguised. But again, even if
yeah.
they see through it, I'm still an elf.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
After the spell drop, but before, huh?
No, like if they can see through the illusion, like the people, they'll just still see an elf.
Right. No, I'm looking at Fenway's comment on the board.
Oh, I was asking if you took a picture while he was in drag.
Oh, of course I did.
We have
That's our
blackmail
Christmas
for later.
card. That's our Christmas card right there. Not before you, like, just when he's in the dress and everything, before you did any magic. Like, oh yeah, that's our Christmas card.
Oh, I thought
We
the
need a
dress was
team
magic.
calendar.
All right, so we're doing this.
All right, so you guys have some luggage, because that's easy to acquire. I do believe somebody mentioned it was all pink, though, so that's perfect.
Yep.
You also
I
have
think right
some
now is
rudimentary hacksaws and other brutalization equipment. When do you want to try and do this?
The next day ish.
first we want to like get the blood done, the blood work done.
Okay, so you're gonna go for the clone blood. She can easily meet you somewhere, and like have the blood already in little tubies for you. Maybe even just have a courier drop it off, all nonchalant. So you'll have like 2 little vials of her blood to start with. We need to work on cloning them, I believe, is what you guys wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How do you guys want to accomplish that?
Okay,
And-
so I guess we picked a place based on that roll I made earlier. Or do you want me to make another one for facilities to find a good candidate?
Well, you made a roll to know where you can get this done at. So you know a couple of places. It is up to
Okay.
you where you want to give it a try at.
Okay. So my criteria are I want to go. It's probably going to be easier to do this during the day when there's lots of people than at night when there's a small number of people, and we're more likely to get lost in the shuffle. I'm thinking. Maybe if Finway and I can go in, and you guys can stay outside in case there's trouble. But I think we could run out. I think we could run out of the hospital if there was some kind of trouble. I don't think we'd have to shoot our way out.
My audio jumped. What did you say you need Fenway to do?
Come with me to be kind of like Facey, and if we need any kind of illusion masking work or something, just because it'll be good to have somebody with me.
He's
And
just
I think
scared.
you're the best talker. You're the best talker. You might be able to save me if I get tongue-tied when trying to make this happen. So I guess
I say we do it during the night. There'll be fewer people to catch us, and blood work is done like throughout the day because it takes a lot of time. So we do it during the night in case we get caught. Me or Rico, one of us could be there and just knocks the person out instead of killing them. Like if worse comes worse.
I thought you were a ride.
Well, so here's the thing. We don't need to knock out or kill anybody. I would hope.
I agree to that. I'm saying it's like worse come to worse, you have somebody who, in case they don't buy our bullshit, you need to knock some so one of us is there to take care of that just in case. But I say we do it during the night. Fewer people to catch us, fewer people to question us, and blood work is done 24/7 because it takes a lot of time.
True, but by doing it at night, we're more likely to stick out. We're more likely to be odd. I mean, so just something I've noticed in general. If the sneaky thing you're trying to do, is crawl over a wall or hide in the shadows or anything like that, you always want to go at night. If the sneaky thing you're trying to do is just pass as one of the herd, you want to do that when there is an actual herd. That's easier to do during the day. Like, since this is a full bullshit play, we're actually not going to be sneaking from, like, hallway to hallway or anything like that. I'm thinking brazen might be a better strategy. I mean, I'm not like it has to be that way or anything. That's just my initial thinking. But if you guys would rather do it at night, I'm cool with that too.
I mean, I just feel like the more staff there is, the more chance of someone being like, "Huh, I don't remember those guys." The fewer, like during the night, people are sleepy, less likely to pay attention, and those who are there are probably busy with their work. So you see a bunch of guys in like lab coats and doctors walking around. Plus, you said you would going to forge documents that make sense that we are going to be there. So I don't know why we do it during the day, but then it's your plan, so like your call.
During the day, they're more busy, so don't have time to check the documents.
It's protocol though.
And and the other thing is, like, I'm gonna be wearing the scrubs and everything, right? Which automatically puts me in the uniform. But they don't have facial. They won't recognize my face. But I could be from another department in the hospital, some like a specialist or calling down from surgery or something. They don't work a lot with those doctors. Whereas if I'm doing it in the middle of the night, that probably would seem weird. Or
running after sins. How does that work though? Is it just like a running ID tag? Like, hey, I'm Phil.
Yes, kind of like. One of the things I talked about the other day was that, like, if you are, imagine going up to a building that has like automated doors, that if you don't have a sin and it's a nicer building, those doors won't open for you because you're clearly criminal scum. So
yeah, my fake sin it has a medical license. I am a rating 4 doctor.
Oh, sweet. Then just walk in. What are we waiting for?
But you're a rating 4 doctor that is not their doctor.
Right. But I'm gonna. So my plan is to. All right. So here's the prep work. I want to use my forgery skill to make the plastic IDs that they hang off their scrubs. Okay. And make one for me. And actually, let's do this. How about this? Fenway can be come with me as a doctor, and we can dress up Splatter as an orderly in the hall. You can keep track. You can keep your eyes going either which way and pushing them off. Nobody will even notice that you're there. Like you'll blend into the background. And you can keep eyes out for us. So I would need to make 3 badges for all 3 of us, and then when we get there, I want to try to hit that device and put it in an order, and then I'm going to come in and say, "Here's that blood for that emergency rush order from."
What do I roll to see if my dry cleaning contact can get us the uniforms?
Connection times 2 plus loyalty.
It should be easy. We just need to know the right color of the scrubs, and I think I would get that from my.
It's really easy to get.
Yeah.
So, out of character, doctors don't usually do deliveries.
I mean, if you want to ruin all of my fun, please.
Oh, sorry. Let me shut up now.
No, I have a reason for that.
Okay, good.
So with 3 hits, yeah, he could totally get you. The question I have is, do you want to return these to him, or do you want them to just, get lost in the wash, as so many socks have done before?
I figure we can return them. We don't have any use for it afterwards, right?
Sure, he'll charge you $100 per outfit you wish.
All right, and that'll just come out of the group funds.
All right, so we want two sets of scrubs with lab coats and 1 set of white orderly uniform, dwarf sized. I'm gonna go ahead and roll for forgery.
Well, why can't Fenway also be an orderly and you're just telling him where to go to get this stuff? And that would be my excuse for being with you.
Um.
New
Oh
stupid new
no.
guy.
Let me think. Who would you be to walk to me? Because it is going to be weird that a doctor is going in there, but I'm going to go in there all like pissed off because I was supposed to already have had this 2 hours ago, and what the fuck is the problem? And then
So
when they
Fenway can be the lab assistant that fucked up, or the doctor and trainee, right? Who
who can bring me
messed
down
up.
the second vial, or he can bring down the other vials or something, or you can go in and say what happened to it, blah blah blah, blah, and I can actually just not even bother showing up unless I need to apply pressure to the situation. So you could be a lab tech who came down to get it, and then if they give you any static, the doctor comes in and goes, "What the fuck is going on here? Where's my blood?" You want to do that? You want to take points since you got better social skills? And I'll just make sure that you got the right documentation and be there as backup to show up if you need it.
Sure, my rolls haven't been that bad so far.
But don't you need to be there to actually like work on the blood? And uh, like we need someone to actually sit there and work, right, and make the blood. Wouldn't that be you?
Well, originally that was what I was thinking, but since we're now basically forging the documents and stuff like that, we're going to get their lab to make it for us. Like this will be like like running a standard lab test. So we're going to go in there, pressure the guy, give him the vials, make him make the stuff, and then we will leave with it.
But I mean, we need like buckets of blood, right, for the murder scene. Whereas blood work in generally just requires like drops or like vials. So wouldn't the doctors making buckets of fake blood or whatever be like, what the fuck is this for?
Except I'm going to tell them it's for a research, a hush hush research project from the 6th floor. I'm going to totally edge that too. I'll make good ideas. Much better.
So it sounds like you guys have a little bit of a plan here. So let's go ahead and just take our second break of the night, and we'll come back and see how well it plays out.